Hey, everybody, welcome. Come on in and join us. Me and Tech Sergeant Tugboat, retired, are just chilling out here because we are getting ready to review for you a military war drama called The Covenant. All right? So stay tuned and we'll try to keep you entertained. All right, on with the show.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Hey there, my movie maniacs, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Welcome on into this latest episode of Movies Merica. Come on in, kick up your feet, relax, okay? Maybe it's the end of the workday and you're finally getting a chance to tune in, or you're right in the middle of the workday and you're using this to decompress. Believe me, I can relate, okay? Today's special cinematic treat for you is Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. And you may know Guy Ritchie from Snatch and Lock, Stock, and 10 Smoking Barrels. The man from Uncle. He just did Wrath of Man last year with Jason Statham. He's one of his favorites. He loves him. Some Jason Statham. Yes, he's a transporter when he's not starring in Guy Ritchie movies. Yes. But Guy Ritchie does not have Jason Statham in this one here, but you will find that out because I'm about to go into what
Let's go, I'm bored, let's go.
The Covenant is all about, all right? So it stars Jake Gyllenhaal as Sergeant John Kinley, and then Salim plays Ahmed. So I'm going to just refer to him as John and Ahmed from this point. And so John is the leader of a squad that hunts out IEDs, improvised explosive devices, bombs, okay, that you can drive over or step on. And then Ahmed is the interpreter that gets assigned to their squad. And they do find themselves in a sticky situation later on where they're in peril. They're getting chased down by the Taliban. And as you see in the trailer, Jake Gyllenhaal, does get injured. And then also in the trailer, Ahmed has to carry him to safety, and there's a big long trek. He's saving John's life. And then John goes home safely, and Ahmed is left there in Afghanistan twisting in the wind. And the United States, is not doing anything to help him out, okay? They were just like, well, we got what we needed out of you, and we're just going to leave you twisting in the wind. Good luck. And John is not having it. And so he goes back to rescue him. And that's the synopsis of The Covenant, and that's not anything you haven't seen in the trailers. If you watch the Covenant trailers, it's right there. And this movie is not based particularly on any particular true story. It's like an amalgamation of the relationship between American personnel and interpreters assigned to them. And it's just kind of a love letter to that relationship. But with that, I hope it's tantalized you to keep watching and learn more about The Covenant. Now, this particular show is spoiler-free, but this Thursday night, I will have spoilers all over the place, okay? I'm going to get all up in some The Covenant spoilers this Thursday night on my Movies Merica Spoiler Warning show, and that is going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. So that's 5 Central, or 6 Central, and then 5 Mountain, okay? And again, that's the Movies America Spoiler Warning Show, where I go over the movie that I cover in the spoiler-free episode, one of which is that you're watching right now. And so once everyone's got a chance to watch the movie, I provide for you a spoiler-filled outlet for you to talk about the movie you just saw. You know, if you want to get in some in-depth discussion, have some questions, comments, whatever. Yeah, join me for Movies America Spoiler Warning this Thursday night, and you could live chat with me, okay? Get on there and just start, live chatting on your phone, on your laptop, your PC, your iMac, whatever, okay? And I'm going to see your live chat, like it says, live, and I'll be able to read your live chats for the whole world to see. And any comments, any questions, I'm more than happy to answer, because I don't want to just be talking to myself on that show. I want to talk to you. I want to interact. Okay, let's keep the lines of communication going, all right? So you just have to go to my Twitter account at @MoviesAmerica that day, Thursday, and you can click on the link to join via Rumble or YouTube, or you can just go to Rumble and YouTube and just type in Movies America. And Rumble, Movies America will come right up. But YouTube is going to make life a little harder on you, because when you search for Movies America, it says, did you mean Movies America? Or it tries to search for Movies America instead, okay? And right below where you put in Movies America, it says search instead for Movies America. Click that if you're on YouTube, okay? But it's much easier to just search on Rumble, and just because it brings up Movies America right away, okay? So with that, again, yeah, join me this Thursday night for Movies America Spoiler Warning at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, 6 Central, 5 Pacific, okay? Hope to see you there. This movie is a tribute to military interpreters. Dar Salim's Ahmed character, he does a fantastic job in a movie interview, a junket interview with a critic, spelling out the distinction between an interpreter and a translator, because there's a part in the movie where John, Jake Gyllenhaal's character, says, "You're here to translate, that's all," something to that effect. And Ahmed says, "No, I'm here to interpret." And in this interview, he spells out the distinction between an interpreter and a translator, as in that he's not just Google Translate, okay? He's there to interpret the situation, the Afghan people, the way that they act, their mannerisms, and then also to translate what they're saying, of course. But it's not just to translate words. It's something more encompassing or all-encompassing than that. And that's the distinction. And the movie does point out that there are a lot of interpreters and their families that were basically left twisting in the wind after the clown show that was the moronic way that we left Afghanistan. Okay, you can have your thoughts about whether we should have left Afghanistan or not. Personally, I think that there was a time and place to get out of Afghanistan, but not in the clownish way that we just clumsily left Afghanistan without expecting the Taliban to meet the goals that we set for them, which they did not. But this current administration, as of the time I'm recording, they were just in such a hurry to get out of Afghanistan by a certain date, September 11th, 2021. But so during that whole moronic way we got out, there were all kinds of random Afghanis that just were allowed to jump on planes, and they flew over here. But what happened to the actual Afghanis that actually helped us out? Like Ahmed in this movie, interpreters, okay? People that searched out for improvised explosive devices, risked their lives and limbs to help us. What about them? We pretty much left them there. We left them twisting in the wind, like I keep saying, without granting them the SIVs or the special immigration visas that they were promised, that for helping us, they were promised, okay, well, you're going to get some special immigration visas, and this administration just left them over there.
Movement, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay?
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Just reading some stats here. So by the end of 2021, according to the Wall Street Journal, approximately 62,000 Afghans that helped us in some capacity were just left over there, okay? They never got those special immigration visas they were promised, and while a bunch of random Afghanis got to jump on a plane, the Afghanis that actually helped us basically got left with no chair when the music stopped.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay? And I believe a caption at the end of the movie actually says, if I'm remembering correctly, the numbers are in this approximate range, but they said that 500 approximately Afghanis that helped us and their families actually have been killed by the Taliban ever since we left Afghanistan. Jake Gyllenhaal does some of his best work in this. And again, like I said, he plays Sergeant John Kinley. And Sergeant John Kinley, he's the exact opposite of Jake Gyllenhaal's character in last year's Ambulance, who was this larger-than-life kind of character. And in this movie, he's a serious, he's driven, he's stoic. He's not overly charismatic like his character in Ambulance last year. And his heart hurts that the man who suffered and crawled and scratched his way to saving his life was basically just left to die in Afghanistan by the U.S. And involuntarily, John's life cannot continue until he fulfills this covenant, this promise, okay? Because he knows that Ahmed saved his life, and he has developed a promise. John has developed a promise in his heart that he needs to return the favor. This guy saved his life, and when you watch the movie, you'll get the full breadth of exactly what Ahmed went through to save John's life. And so John's got this covenant inside of him that he has to fulfill. He can't be a husband to his wife. He can't be a father to his children. Not till this is done. Not till this is done is all. Not until his Savior and his Savior's family are safe. And Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah, he does some powerhouse acting in this, particularly in a scene where he's getting confronted by his commanding officer and then a fellow sergeant who's a friend of his. And there's a monologue in this scene, like in the third act. There's a monologue in this scene where it's punctuated with the line, "I have a hook in me." And that's going to have more resonance if you see the movie. But he delivers that monologue in just such a gut-wrenching way when he's explaining, like, okay, I've got this need, this unquenchable hunger, this obligation in me that I can't live the rest of my life until I fulfill this covenant and save this man's life. And on top of that, there's another event that occurs earlier in the movie that he also feels extremely guilty about. So his guilt about Ahmed and his family being left over there in Afghanistan to die is compounded by this earlier tragedy that he feels ultimately responsible for. And on a kind of a side note, there's a question about this movie that I still need answered, and it's going to mean more. The reason why I'm wondering about it is going to mean more if you've seen the movie. And the question is this, like, why didn't John Kinley tell Anthony Starr's character Parker, and Anthony Starr's character Parker is like this contractor, military contractor, like a Merc or something like that, that's over in Afghanistan, working contracted with the U.S. government. And so John is working with him to try to get Ahmed back. But he doesn't tell Parker that he's John Kinley. And that is a big deal in the movie, and you'll realize why that's a big deal when you check this movie out. All right, my movie maniacs, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics, thanks for sticking around this long. And you know what? Since you're sticking around this long, just let me ask you to subscribe to this channel and like this video, and then hit that notification bell down there to get notifications when there's a fresh, new, piping hot episode of Movies Merica with your name on it. Okay, just for you, all right? And then also get down in those comments down below this here. So, because I want to hear from you about this episode, about The Covenant, or anything movie related, or if you think I need to improve in some way, or if you want to throw some kudos my way, by all means. But you do that down in the comments. And then also visit tdpn.locals.com and become a member of tdpn.locals.com. And that's TDPN as in Till Death Podcast Network. And right now, when you go there to that website, you put in promo code TDPN, you get a free month of tdpn.locals.com. Why would you want to go to this website? Well, I'll tell you why. Because there's fascinating, fantastic articles and blogs and videos that myself and Ian and Sean, other soldiers fighting the fight for the Till Death Podcast Network, we put our material out there on this website here. And in my case, about movies and entertainment. And then with Sean and Ian, it's the hot button issues of the day, politics, music, what have you. So if you really want to be entertained, if you want something to make your eyes pop out of your head and something to hold your attention, check out tdpn.locals.com. And there's a lot of content on there where you have to be a member, okay? But if you put in promo code TDPN, you get 1 month free, and then after that, it's like $3 a month. Okay, that's nothing, right? That's a Hot Pockets, right? That's a box of Hot Pockets right there. Okay, for a whole month. Okay, so yeah, go check that out there. We love to see you out there. It's another way to interact with us because we want to get to know you better. All right, on with the show. I thought that the movie and the way that it was segmented was a little too clumsy. The third act just seems too rushed and forced. And, it's almost like they were doing it to make a particular runtime, okay? And this is in contrast to the second act in the movie that is just the right length to illustrate just how dangerous and difficult John and Ahmed's situation was, okay? And the transition between the second act and the third act is just felt indistinct and muddled.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
And Guy Ritchie, the director, spent too much time towards the beginning of the movie familiarizing us with John and his team and all their activities. And that part of the movie could have been cut down. Okay, I'm all about character development. I get it. You want to get to know these characters, and hey, you know what kind of socks they like and what kind of food they like to eat. Like, you don't have to get that in depth. Okay, and this movie doesn't get that in depth. I'm just being sarcastic, but you don't have to spend that much time at the expense of another part of the movie. That way, you don't have the second act of the movie seem so much longer and in depth than the third act. So I just thought the segmentation of the movie could have been better. Another part of this movie is that if you're looking for a movie that's played for pure syrupy sweet emotion, this movie ain't it. Okay. It's determined to be very sterile and procedural. I mean, just picture like an operating room. Okay, it's cold lighting, and sterilization everywhere, and no room for dilly-dally. Okay, it's a very serious, sterile, procedural environment, and that provides for no Hollywoodization. I'm sure that's not a word. I just made that up, but yeah, just no Hollywoodization of the emotional connection between John and Ahmed. And I think, for me, I think they could have used more with that. And so that's why I think that the lack of more emotion worked against this movie. And I'm well aware that Hollywood can sometimes pour on the schmaltz a little too thick oftentimes, okay? But when you inject some Hollywoodization, to use my newly invented word, to inject some emotion in there, when you do it in moderation, it works. It helps create a great emotional escape for the audience. And so, to that point, this movie could have used like more heartfelt moments between John and Ahmed. They didn't have to overdo it, but don't extremely underdo it like this movie does here. Because if they would have had more of those heartfelt moments, where you're just you're identifying with these guys, and it basically gets you, right? It grabs you and makes you care about these characters more than you do otherwise. If they would have had more than that, then this movie would have packed a lot more emotional impact. Salim is fantastic and tough as Ahmed, and I didn't really recognize Salim from anything until I learned that he actually was in Game of Thrones, okay? And I looked it up, and he looks nothing in Game of Thrones. He looks nothing like he does in The Covenant, okay? For one, he's got hair in Game of Thrones, and the role he played in Game of Thrones is he played one of Khal Drogo's blood riders for the Dothraki. And his character ended up getting killed by Jorah Mormont. So I basically picked a fight with the wrong guy, and Jorah Mormont slashed him across the face and, took him out in Game of Thrones. But Salim is a totally different character in this as Ahmed. And really, Ahmed, he reminded me a lot of Benicio del Toro's character in Sicario, Alejandro, in that Alejandro in Sicario, he's presented as this very mysterious character, very foreboding, very capable, but very mysterious. Particularly like to Emily Blunt's character in Sicario, she's the most annoying character in that movie. But that's a topic for another day. But so Ahmed in this movie, it reminds me of Benicio del Toro's character in Sicario. And Ahmed is a contemplative man of action, okay, with what I would call intelligent initiative. He dances to the beat of his own drum sometimes, and that pisses off John, okay, because John's in the military. He's a sergeant in the military, and he believes orders should be followed without question. And Ahmed's, tendency to not always follow orders because the situation demands that the orders not be followed, that earns Kinley's respect, if not his friendship. And that combined with what Ahmed does for him later on in the movie, which is just this monumental, heroic thing. That obviously helps earn even more, respect, bucket loads of respect from Kinley for Ahmed. And you find out in the movie, not long in the movie, that there's a much more impactful hidden reason that Ahmed has signed up, for duty with the Americans to help him out in the fight against the Taliban. And essentially, Ahmed is more than meets the eye. That's right, kiddies. It's brew review time, and I hope you came thirsty, all right? Because I am going to review the lucky beer for today, so without further adu, let me grab the brew. And so today's lucky brew is Sapporo Reserve. Okay, let me get that up there. Make sure you good folks can see that. Sapporo Reserve out of Japan, yes, where I was stationed for a few years, okay? So this is bringing me back, okay? Sapporo, named after the island Sapporo, part of the Japanese islands right here. And so, yeah, it's pretty good. It's an American lager, even though it's a Japanese beer, okay? And you got yourself 5.2% alcohol by volume, so it's not some little pissant, little watered-down beer. It's got some taste to it right there. But, yeah, let me get over here. There we go. So, yeah, Sapporo. And enough talking about it, okay? Let me take a little drinky, okay? Oh, yes. Heavenly beer. Absolutely. Okay, so let me mention here. You can get this Sapporo. It's not that hard to find. Okay, this isn't like one of my more obscure beers that I've reviewed. You can get Sapporo at a lot of places, probably at your local grocery store there. But yeah, check it out. It's a beer. In short, I would recommend it. And I used to drink this a lot. Or Asahi is another Japanese beer when I was over there. And you know what the appetite, the thirst for that kind of beer followed me over here to the States, and I still drink it, obviously, okay? So, that has been Brew Review Time. To be honest, this movie is bound to get compared to Lone Survivor and other military dramas. 12 Strong with Chris Hemsworth, I think it's the name of the movie. That's another one. It's probably going to get compared to, because that one I think took place in Afghanistan too. Actually, I know that one took place in Afghanistan as well. But it's going to get compared particularly to Lone Survivor. And it also even has Alexander Ludwig in this, and he was also in Lone Survivor. And I'm going to come right out and say it. I liked Lone Survivor better than The Covenant. For one, the action in Lone Survivor is better. The pacing is an improvement over The Covenant. I do have to say the action in The Covenant is choreographed in a way that I've never seen before. But like the rest of the movie, it's very clinical and sterile, and it just lacks the grit and the edge, the edge that the action in Lone Survivor had. Now, the climactic fight in The Covenant, that's better than the rest of the action in The Covenant, though, because it just does a masterful job at showing how powerful and overwhelming American military might is when we have the will and the balls to actually use it, okay? There's very few things that America's enemies enjoy more than a good old American paralysis by analysis, okay? Let's just look at a few more spreadsheets and dot a few I's and cross some more T's before we even move a millimeter, okay? America's enemies, they love that. They love that. Now, a word about the production design in The Covenant, particularly Afghanistan. They actually filmed The Covenant in Spain, but they did a fantastic job of making Spain look like Afghanistan. I mean, not that I've ever been to Afghanistan, but I've seen plenty of movies or, news footage from Afghanistan. But yeah, it looks, exactly like you see Afghanistan look like, from looking at news coverage. Now, on a side note, it was maddening, though, to see Bagram Air Base in this, because just the way that we just abandoned that air base, and I don't think we even told the Afghanis that we were going to abandon it, so we didn't even give them a chance to fortify the base and protect the equipment that was at Bagram Air Base.
You blew it!
We just up and left, and then Afghanis were like, oh, what the hell? We could have, if you would have given us some warning, we could have fortified the base. And then the Afghanis that were fighting with the U.S., they could have used that base, okay? But they didn't have any warning, and the U.S. was like, we're out of here. Bye. And Taliban was like, there's Bagram down there for the taking. No one's even guarding it. And look at all that sweet equipment we get to have. nice. Thank you, America. And so, yeah, it was just so stupidly, the way that we gave up that base. And also at the end of the movie, there is actually even a caption that talks about how after the U.S. and other countries left Afghanistan, immediately the Taliban just took right back over. So we were over in Afghanistan for 20 years precisely, or, well, pretty close. So, yeah, so Joe Biden he just wanted to get out of Afghanistan so badly by September 11, 2021. Like, there's just something about that date that was just meant so much to him. And so instead of doing it right, he decided to try to get out by a certain date. And, history is history and what it turned out to be. So, but yeah, those are just some little tidbits about the movie, The Covenant. All right, you guys have been so good to me by sticking around and watching this episode. And I want to return the favor to you by telling you about Nature Clear Recovery Powder. What is that, you might be asking? Well, so just picture yourself, you're going to go out on the town, you're going to have some booze, and you're worried, like, you know what, I might party a little too hard, okay, and I don't want a hangover the next morning. Well, Nature Clear Recovery Powder helps you recover from that, okay? You just take a little packet of this Nature Clear Recovery Powder, just like a little packet like you've seen, with, like, flavored powder and whatnot. So you just take that, you just pour it in a bottle of water or 12 ounces of water, just shake that thing up and just chug that before you go out that night. And you don't have to worry about having a hangover because it helps you recover from that, okay? But if you do find yourself in the unlucky spot where you're like 23, tequila shots into your night, and you're like, oh, I forgot to take my Nature Clear. Have no fear. All right, just take it when you get home. And that helps you recover as well. So, those Nature Clear people, they're always thinking, okay? And then also it helps you recover from smoking and vaping as well. So at this point, obviously, you're wondering, how do I get this great product there, Van? Well, you just have to click on the Nature Clear description down below this episode, okay? Just click in there, pick the Nature Clear products that you want, get it into the cart, and then in the promo code field, just type in movies. And you're going to get up to 25% off your first order of Nature Clear, all right? So get it. Like, arm yourself. Have it in your arsenal. So when you go out there and you party a little too hard, you've got Nature Clear on your side, okay? Check it out. Tick-tock, tick-tock. It's about time for me to rock on out of here. But before I do, I just want to ask you again to subscribe to this channel, okay? And like this video, all right? And then hit that notification bell down there so you don't have to remember when a new Movies Merica episode is ready, okay? You're going to know it because you're going to hear ding, or you're going to be checking your email, and you're like, whoa, there's a new Movies Merica episode. Hot, fresh, and ready for me to enjoy, okay? I'm sorry. That voice sounded creepy. I'm not going to do it again, I promise you, okay? At least not for the next 2 minutes. All right. And then get in the comments down below, okay? Comment here. Let me know. Give me a comment. Reach out to me. I want to hear from you. What did you like about The Covenant? Who was your favorite actor in it? What's your favorite moment? Any movie-related comment. Just go crazy. Comment about whatever you like, okay? And then also get to tdpn.locals.com. TDPN, Till Death Podcast Network is what that stands for. So tdpn.locals.com. Get in there, and if you put in promo code TDPN, you get the first month free, and then it's just a minimum of $3 per month. After that, get all the articles, the videos, the blogs, all kinds of stuff that you're just gonna be like, oh my God, this is too much entertainment. I can't take it anymore. Like, you're gonna get to that point, okay? All right, almost, okay. We don't want to overwhelm you, okay? So would I recommend going to see The Covenant? I would, just from the standpoint that this is an original movie and I like rewarding original content as long as it's good, okay? And The Covenant is good. I don't think you're going to like it better than Lone Survivor. Like, I think the Lone Survivor is better. Black Hawk Down is way better. That's just a classic. But The Covenant holds up because it is a unique story in the military drama genre, because it is a tribute to interpreters and their relationship with American service personnel and all that. So it's good for that for that perspective of our military conflicts, okay? All right, everybody, get out there. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. Ciao.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got a popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching.